Lots of topics to cover, including the champs who take the floor in Sacramento on a 2-game losing streak tonight. Hasn't been good offensively. In fact, they're averaging just 89 points over back-to-back losses in Utah and Portland. 35% shooting, including a season-low 34% in Portland. Just a mess. Guys have been sick. Guys have been hurt. Kyle Korver trying to integrate himself into this team. He's 2 of 10 his first 2 games. It's just 2 games. Well, so it's a blip, I guess, but still.
Well, I mean, I think there's a little bit of overreaction. Obviously, like you said, some illnesses, some injuries. But, me and Coach were talking about this before. Practice time is key. When you bring in a new player, having some practice time, but having healthy bodies, and now they're going on a 6-game road trip. The first 2 they handle, then they have some struggles the next 2 in Utah and Portland. But I think everyone just needs to calm down. They have to get healthy, get Korver in the mix, get some practice time. They'll be fine.
You left out food poisoning as another problem.
Well, I just said sick. I didn't want to get too graphic.
Okay, and then if we're looking at a stat basketball-wise, it's turnovers.
Yeah.
Turnovers way too high. Brooklyn, they had the game in control, and all of a sudden Brooklyn's back in the game at the end of the game. They go to Phoenix, 24-point lead. All of a sudden it's a 4-point game at the end of the game. So they, messed around a little bit too much perhaps in those games. All this time, they have not practiced. And, LeBron came out and said a week ago, look, we're normally not a team that practices a lot because Toronto tries to rest them and really pick and choose his places. Now you add the injuries and the sickness and the trade taking place, and they're down on bodies, and a 6-game trip. It caught up.
Fewer than 20 assists in 7 straight games as well, which just lends credence to LeBron's argument, his public plea for a backup point guard for this team.
There are 2 spots that need to be filled, in my opinion. One is the backup point guard behind Kyrie Irving, and the other is, whether you want to admit it or not, Mozgov was a big piece, big part of that team. And I mean that big in a couple different ways. They don't have a big body. This is a small Cavalier team. They don't have anybody. And tonight is a perfect example with Cousins. There's no one to play Cousins on the Cavaliers. Force double teams now, see if Cousins can pass out of it, or will they hurt him with the 3-point shot?
And if something were to happen to Tristan Thompson, they'd be in serious trouble on that front.
Well, they're thin, like Coach said. They need some more bodies, but David Griffin, the general manager, he'll pull, a rabbit out of the hat here again. He got Korver in the deal, didn't give up a ton. And then they need another point guard, but like Coach said, another big body. They don't have a lot of size up front, and that could be an issue come, hey, we want to follow this guy, put him at the free throw line, injuries, illness. And like we were talking about before, they might have a little practice time here on a road trip, but they've been so sick and banged up, they don't have enough players even to practice at times probably. So, hey, it's a long ebbs and flows to the season. You have to handle the schedule. You have to handle all of these things. Some teams do it better than others, but having a LeBron James obviously helps.
Well, tonight in Sacramento, then they'll wrap up the road trip Monday with the big rematch with the Golden State Warriors, which will be fun.